Hey everyone, Professor Petboy here. I just wanted to check in and walk through what you're going to be working on in our week 3 writing notebook. So as you look at your feedback from last week, I'm still looking and working through grading. Make sure that you're looking at all of my feedback, and I'm also leaving in-text feedback throughout your notebooks as well. Those are going to give you some tips to work on your writing and really also show some areas where you're shining and doing fantastic. So this next worksheet that we're going to be working here, we're going to think about this idea of audience. So when we think of audience, we want to think about the group of people that would really benefit from the piece of writing that you're creating. So when you think about audience, it's not just for me because I'm going to be reading your work. If you're writing about, let's see, an experience related to the field of IT, maybe hiring managers might want to read your week 2 assignment. Or if you were thinking about something in the military and moving into a different leadership position, maybe a group of people in the military might be your audience of that particular piece. So as you start to think about this, think about the bigger picture of audience, who they are that's going to be receiving your piece of writing, what they already know about the topic, and how much detail you're going to have to give them. Because if you think about it, if your audience has no idea what you're talking about this topic, and they're kind of clueless, you might have to include more details, right? Or if it's someone that already knows everything about whatever topic you're writing about, you don't have to include as many details because they kind of get the gist of what's going on. So once we start to think about this activity this week, each step here is going to have a link for you to start with. So make sure as you're working through each step, so this first one is really starting to consider your audience, make sure that you're reading through each one of these resources first. It's going to really help you out a lot. And this first question you're going to answer, and you're going to talk about the audience who would be most difficult to write for. So you can think about this in many different ways. If it's going to be a hiring manager, if it is going to be someone in HR, if it's going to be someone that is an instructor, someone with a lot of knowledge, a subject matter expert in your area, who that might be. And I also want you to think about what audience you most likely are to write for academically and professionally, and really how you can explain that a little bit. So when you think about an academic audience, when you think about a professional audience, who would that be? Who would make up that particular audience? So in this second step here, I want you to think about changing that audience. We're going to think about the week 2 assignment, your written assignment from last week that you submitted, and I want you to think about the audience. So think about what group of people would really benefit from all of that information, your experiences, your background, everything about that career, and then how did you want your audience to react? You should have an idea of this going into any piece of writing. Are you looking to entertain them, inform them? Do you want them just to understand your story? So knowing their reaction is going to be important. This third step, we're going to start to look at situations and how you can communicate differently to different audiences. So in this section here, you can describe a situation of written communication where you might be called upon to deliver information. This is something that you can talk about your current career, your future career, anything goes here as long as it's written, a situation that involves you creating a piece of written communication. Once you discuss this, I want you guys to think about how you would communicate this information to different audiences. So for example, if you are going to send, an email to a colleague about a summary of a meeting they missed, how would you send that email in a different way to a supervisor for a meeting they missed? Would your word choice change? Would you completely change everything that you've done in that email? Would you maybe even text it and use shorthand if it was a colleague rather than a supervisor? So look at how you would communicate, how you would change up that particular word choice. And this next section, the last section in each notebook is always about your reflection. And this is to think about what challenges you encountered in this writing notebook and working with this new idea of audience and audience analysis. So think about too what aspects of audience analysis were new to you or which aspects you might already have been familiar with. So think about your work, your writing, what you went through for this whole activity, and then think about too, as you're moving forward in our discussion board posts, even if you're taking another class now, think about this idea of audience and think about who's really receiving that piece of work and how you need to adapt your language accordingly. So as you work through this week, reach out with any questions. Feel free to message me. Feel free to email me. anything goes. And I'm happy to help send you more resources if you need them. And stay tuned. In the next couple of days, you will have feedback on not only your discussions from last week, but your week 2 assignments and also your notebooks. If you have any late work that you're missing, send me a message and we can work out a plan. And if you do submit any late work, very important, send me a message or send me an email and let me know what you submitted, and I'll know it's ready for grading. So enjoy week 3, and I hope to see you guys on the discussion board very soon.